The professional athlete's offseason is a peculiar creature. For the fans, it's a vacuum, a silence filled with mock drafts, speculation, and the slow ticking clock until the next tip-off. For the players, it's a period of fractured existence, a time for healing, for scattered global competition, for personal ventures, and, beneath it all, the often unseen tectonic shifts of career-defining decisions. In the WNBA, where the economic realities force players to become globe-trotting mercenaries to supplement their income, the offseason isn't a rest, it's a second, sometimes third job. And it is in this complex, pressurized space that the story of Kelsey Mitchell and the Indiana Fever is quietly, tensely unfolding. It began, as so many modern stories do, not with a press conference or a source leak, but with a social media post. A series of images, to be precise. Kelsey Mitchell, the dynamic, lightning-quick guard who has been the offensive heartbeat of the Indiana Fever through seasons of rebuilding and the recent spark of hope, posted photos from the training camp of Unrivaled, the new 3-on-3 league. She stood, clad in her number 0 jersey, alongside fellow Fever guard KK Arnold. The images spoke of preparation, of camaraderie, of a new challenge embraced. But it was the caption that stopped the scroll and ignited the whisper network. Eyes open, mouth closed. In the lexicon of athletes, especially those navigating the treacherous waters of contract years and free agency speculation, there is no phrase more loaded, more deliberately crafted to signal a state of high alert observation. Eyes open, mouth closed is not a casual sentiment. It is the mantra of someone who is watching the chessboard intently, absorbing every move, every offer, every subtle signal from management and the media, while refusing to reveal their own strategy. It is the posture of a player who knows her worth is being appraised and is in turn appraising her options with a silent, fierce clarity. For a player of Mitchell's caliber, a former number 2 overall pick, an all-star, a walking bucket whose speed defines Indiana's transition game, this was not business as usual. This was a statement. The timing was a masterclass in unspoken drama. The WNBA's collective bargaining agreement negotiations are in their crucial final stages, with a reported deadline of January 9th looming. The entire economic future of the league and its players hangs in the balance, affecting everything from base salaries and revenue sharing to travel conditions and marketing rights. While these high-stakes talks proceed behind closed doors, the players are dispersed. Mitchell was in Miami for Unrivaled. Her teammate, Aaliyah Boston, was off making lighthearted TikTok videos. Caitlin Clark, the generational talent whose arrival in Indiana catalyzed a seismic shift in attention and expectation, was deep in the quiet, grueling work of rehab, recovering from the injuries that limited her tantalizing rookie season to just 13 games. Other Fever players were lighting up scoreboards in Australia and representing their national teams in Brazil. Yet, amidst this global diaspora, Mitchell's digital missive cut through the noise. It landed in the feeds of a fan base already nursing a low-grade anxiety. For weeks, murmurs had circulated in the darker corners of WNBA discourse. Was Kelsey Mitchell happy? Would she want to stay? With the evolution of the team now squarely focused on the Clark-Boston axis, where did that leave the veteran guard? Could Indiana afford to keep her? The Fever's own social media, posting cheerful holiday throwbacks and fan engagement questions, found their comment sections consistently hijacked by one repeated plaintive inquiry: is Kelsey staying? Into this stew of uncertainty stepped Caitlin Clark. Her response to Mitchell's Unrivaled post was characteristically succinct, a digital poke of support in her signature style. "Let's go, Kelsey." 3 words. That was all. Aaliyah Boston added a superstar, but it was Clark's trio that became the headline. In the vacuum of official news, every gesture from a franchise player is parsed for subtext. Was this a casual, supportive comment from a teammate? Or was it a strategic, perhaps even front office encouraged, signal of solidarity? A public arm thrown around Mitchell's shoulder right at the moment her value was being showcased on a national stage and her future was shrouded in question? The layers multiply when you examine Mitchell's decision to join Unrivaled itself. She had opted out of the league's inaugural season. So had Clark, despite, as reports suggested, being offered significant financial incentive to participate. Clark's past this second year was easily explained. Her body and future were her priority after a season truncated by injury. But Mitchell's yes this time felt significant. Unrivaled, with its 3-on-3 format, is a showcase for exactly Mitchell's brand of basketball. Isolation scoring, lightning, first steps, creative shot, making, and the ability to dominate in space. It is a platform designed for players like her to shine, to remind the entire basketball world of their singular talents in a pure, uncluttered setting. The question became unavoidable. Did Mitchell agree to this very public, very flashy offseason commitment because she was already mentally preparing for a future beyond Indiana, aiming to audition for a broader audience? Or was this simply a savvy professional athlete maximizing her earning potential during a CBA limbo, using a legitimate platform to stay sharp and get paid? The pairing with KK Arnold, another Fever guard, suggested it wasn't a deliberate severing of ties. This wasn't a burn the bridges move. It looked more like a leverage play, a reminder broadcast on a new network of exactly what she brings to the court. This is where the human element, so often sanded down by sports analysis, becomes critical. Imagine being Kelsey Mitchell. You were the face of the franchise during the lean years. You carried the offensive load, you dealt with the losses, you built your home in Indianapolis. Then, a meteor arrives in the form of Caitlin Clark. The spotlight, merciless and immense, shifts. The narrative becomes about the future, about a new duo. Your crucial role isn't diminished on the court, in fact. Clark's gravity likely creates more space for you, but the story around the team changes. Your contract situation approaches in this new context. The eyes open, mouth closed posture isn't just professional, it's deeply personal. It's the look of a woman ensuring she is seen, truly seen, and valued for all she has done and all she can still do. And imagine being Caitlin Clark. You arrive with unimaginable pressure, tasked with lifting a franchise. You quickly see how vital a veteran like Mitchell is to your own success, to the ecosystem of the team. You spend a season battling injuries, watching from the sidelines, yearning to build that on-court chemistry. You see the speculation about your backcourt partner, the whispers that this partnership you've barely begun might dissolve before it truly blossoms. A comment like "Let's go Kelsey" is then both simple and profoundly complex. It is public support for a teammate. It is a subtle, crowdsourced nudge to the front office. It is, perhaps, a personal plea. Let's go. Let's keep going together. The Fever front office now operates in a crucible of perception. Mitchell participating in Unrivaled is no longer just an off-season activity. It's a live, televised negotiation. Every crossover, every step back three, every highlight she creates in Miami increases her market value. Other general managers will be watching, calculating what they'd offer to add that kind of explosive scoring to their roster. Clark's public endorsement, meanwhile, sets a fan expectation. It makes Mitchell's potential departure feel not like a front office calculation, but a personal loss for the team's brightest star. The silent period before the CBA resolution and free agency is always a time of reading tea leaves. The athlete's social media becomes a curated exhibit of their state of mind. The supportive comments from fellow players become diplomatic cables. The absence of certain posts speaks as loudly as any press release. In this case, Mitchell's cryptic caption and heightened visibility, contrasted with Clark's focused rehab and pinpoint public support, and the Fever's official silence, creates a rich human drama. It's a story about loyalty and legacy, about business and partnership, about being seen and feeling valued. It's about what an athlete says when she chooses to say very little, and what her teammates say when they choose to say just a few words. As the January 9th CBA deadline approaches, and as the Unrivaled games begin, all eyes in the WNBA world will be on Kelsey Mitchell. Her eyes are open, her mouth is closed, and her future, alongside the future of an Indiana Fever team on the cusp of contention, hangs in the eloquent, tense, and very human silence.